Hello YouTube and future ALTs. Today I'm going to be talking about your responsibilities as an ALT, a lot of which have to do with team teaching. And so that's why I mentioned before in a different video that you need to be paying attention to what each teacher is like, what they expect of you, and what their teaching style is like. You should be learning that. So your job, primarily, you are an ALT, an assistant language teacher, right? But it's not quite so simple. Although you will have, at least in my case, a Japanese teacher of English with you in the classroom at all times, but that doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be team teaching. Sometimes, even though they're there, the classroom is your classroom. You are in charge. Other times, that's not the case. For example, I have teachers who will do most of the work in the classroom, and that doesn't mean that there's no reason for me to be there. It just means my job is to support her or him. For one of my classes, I'll go in and she's got the whole day planned out, and I will help with modeling conversation or being a pair for a student or reading and repeating. For another one of my classes, it's kind of 50-50 work. I'll go in and she'll say, okay, I'm going to do these grammatical things at first, and then you can take over for the second half of the class and do an activity. Which, on a side note for that, you're not expected to do as much grammar in English as you are expected to help with communication, oral communication, which is good because a lot of us native English speakers are horrible, especially me, at grammar. Don't really know English grammar. We use it correctly because it sounds natural to us. It doesn't come naturally to them. Anyway, that's on a side note. And so, but in other classes, when I would consider it not so much team teaching, I have classes where I will walk in with the teacher, say good morning, and she will sit down in the back of the class. That's it. She won't say another word in the entire class except for goodbye at the very end. And in those cases, it is your class. I mean, you're in charge 100% of the time. They will, she'll help if you need it, if you need her to translate something, but it's your classroom. So eventually you'll get there. And those actually can be the most rewarding. Those can be, and also if you mess up, the most painful. But those are some examples of the kind of responsibilities in the classroom. Another huge part is lesson planning before you go in the classroom, and this is communication with the teacher that you're going to teach with is key. You really need to know what's going to happen before you go in the class. You don't want to assume they have a plan and then you don't have a plan, and then go in the classroom and you've got an hour of what do you want to do today? I mean, it's not an ideal situation. So communication is key. Know what they expect from you, know what you need to have ready, and eventually you'll get a feel for what the students are like in the class, so you'll know how long each activity takes and what they like and what they don't like, and that comes with time. So another maybe piece of advice is technology. You can use it in your classroom. In fact, that might even be another separate video, but just real quick about it. You can use it and you may not be able to use it. It depends on if your school is equipped to, like if you have a MacBook, you're gonna need something to connect it to a projector. If they don't have an HDMI projector, you're out of luck. You can buy adapters and stuff like that, but little things like that, you need to think about how you can present the technology that you want to use in the classroom, which can be a great tool, and it can also fail horribly if you have something planned out and then for whatever reason something goes wrong and you can't use your laptop or your iPad or anything in the classroom, and then you're stuck with no plan. So if you plan to use technology, maybe you should also have like a backup plan. That's another good idea. Another part of your responsibilities is, this is a big one, grading, especially if you're at a high-level school like I am. Speech season will come around, and speech season is September, October, around there, August maybe, and that is when every student is going to write a speech and they're going to give it to you to grade. Not to grade, to correct and give it back so they can rewrite it, and that's fine. Some of the speeches are interesting and some of them are well written, but they each take like anywhere between 3 minutes to 10 minutes depending on the level to correct. So multiply that by 400. Man, it is a stressful time as an ALT. And the other part is that some of your students will use Google Translate to write a whole speech. And man, Google Translate does not work that well from Japanese to English or vice versa. And they think you can't tell, but it's at first it's kind of funny, and then it's just frustrating, right? So that's something you can look forward to, and you will also be asked to grade papers other times too, but not as much as during speech season. So other responsibilities, if you are on top of your lesson planning, if you're communicating with your teachers, if you don't have any classes, if you're done with classes for the day, if you don't have any grading to do and you don't have any other responsibilities, you have free time. And that's just how it is. It's gonna happen. You're gonna have days where they're taking tests and nothing's going on, and in those cases, when you have free time, you can read, you can study Japanese, you can go on Facebook. I'm not advocating that, I'm just saying that's a reality that does happen. A lot of ALTs go on Facebook. A lot of the times you can find a quiet room, which some schools have, which is where I am now. It's a tatami room, and you can come in here and take naps, which I might do. You can make YouTube videos. There's a huge range of things you can do within reason. You know, you can listen to music, just do what you're gonna do quietly, and don't be disrespectful. So that's a good overview of your responsibilities as an ALT. I think that we have, as ALTs working in Japan, a lot more freedom than most Japanese teachers. It's not a law here, but it is culturally expected that they will stay and work way past time to go home, and that is not expected of us. Or you can do that if you want, but 5 o'clock rolls around, or 4 o'clock in some ALTs cases, and you can leave straight up. And go home, and I recommend that you do just that. Anyway, so next time I'm going to talk about teaching styles and what my teaching style is like and what I recommend you learn to do in your own classroom and what has worked well for me, which will be useful for those of you that have never taught before, because when I was going to come to Japan, I wish somebody had given me an idea of what it is that I will be doing in the classroom and how kind of scary it is to walk in a classroom for the first time and have 40 young Japanese faces staring at you, waiting, hungry. Teach me, give me knowledge. So until next time.